You wake up, check your phone before your feet hit the floor. Scroll through emails, notifications, someone else's highlight reel. By 9 in the morning, you have already compared yourself to 3 people and felt behind all of them. You work 10, maybe 12 hours, come home, too tired to think, too wired to sleep, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice keeps asking, is this really it? 2,500 years ago, an old man at the western gate of China wrote 81 short chapters before disappearing into the mountains forever. His name was Lao Tzu. The first 10 chapters alone contain a complete operating system for a different kind of life. Today we walk through all 10, and by the end, you will see your Monday morning through completely different eyes. Here's the modern trap in one sentence. We believe that more is always better. More productivity, more information, more goals, more followers, more optimization. We sharpen ourselves every single day, sharper opinions, sharper schedules, sharper ambitions, and then we wonder why we feel so brittle. The entire self-improvement industry is built on one word, add. Add this habit, add this routine, add this mindset, stack more onto an already overloaded life. But what if the real problem is not that you need more, but that you have never learned when to stop? What if a philosopher who lived 25 centuries ago already diagnosed this exact disease and left the prescription in plain sight? The Tao Te Ching, 81 chapters, written by Lao Tzu around 500 BC. It is one of the most translated books in human history, second only to the Bible. But unlike most ancient texts, it gives no commandments. It asks questions. It offers paradoxes. And in the first 10 chapters, it lays out a philosophy so counterintuitive that modern psychology and neuroscience are only now beginning to confirm what it said all along. Chapter 1 opens with, "The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao." Chapter 10 ends with, "Create and do not possess, act and do not expect, lead and do not dominate. This is called the deepest virtue." Between those two lines, a complete map of how to live without burning out, breaking down, or losing yourself in the noise. Let us walk through the arc. Chapter 1 says stop labeling everything. The moment you call something a success or a failure, you have already narrowed your vision. You see only what fits the label and miss everything else. At the office, it sounds like this. This project is a disaster. But is it? Or is it simply moving in a direction you did not plan? Chapter 2 takes this further. Beauty only exists because we invented ugliness. Good only exists because we invented bad. Every judgment creates its opposite. The harder you chase one side, the more the other side chases you. Chapter 3 says stop putting people on pedestals. When a company glorifies its top performer, everyone else feels invisible. When social media glorifies lifestyles, everyone else feels poor. Remove the pedestal, and envy has nowhere to stand. Chapter 4 introduces the core idea. Emptiness is not weakness. It is potential. The Tao is empty, yet inexhaustible, like a cup. Its usefulness is not in the walls. It is in the hollow space inside. Chapter 5 extends this. The universe is not kind or cruel. It simply allows everything to exist. The wisest leader does the same, feeds the body, calms the mind, and speaks only when necessary. Those who talk too much always fail, Lao Tzu writes. Better to hold the center. Chapter 6 names this force, the spirit of the valley. A valley holds everything precisely because it is low and empty. It does not compete with mountains. It receives what mountains cannot hold, and it never runs dry. Chapter 7 reveals the paradox of selflessness. Heaven and earth endure because they do not live for themselves. The person who puts themselves last ends up first, not through manipulation, but through earned trust. Chapter 8 makes it physical. Be like water. Water nourishes all things and competes with nothing. It flows to the lowest places, the spots nobody else wants, and because it does not fight, it never loses. Chapter 9 is the warning shot. Stop before the cup overflows. The sharpest blade dulls the fastest. A hall full of gold cannot be guarded. When the work is done, step back. This is the way of heaven. And Chapter 10 ties it all together. Can you keep your body and soul in one place? Can you breathe so softly you become like a newborn? Can you lead without dominating, create without possessing, act without expecting? This, Lao Tzu says, is the deepest virtue a human can achieve. So what does this actually look like on a Monday morning? It looks like not touching your phone for the first 30 minutes after you wake up. That is Chapter 5, keeping the bellows empty so they can breathe. It looks like doing your best work and not posting about it anywhere. That is Chapter 7, putting yourself behind so the work speaks first. It looks like saying, "I do not know," in a meeting and actually meaning it. That is Chapter 1, releasing the need to label and define everything in real time. It looks like leaving one evening per week completely unplanned. No goals, no content, no optimization. That is Chapter 4, trusting that empty space is not wasted time but fertile ground. It looks like finishing a project, handing it off, and walking away without checking back. That is Chapter 9, the art of stepping away at the peak before the gold starts weighing you down. And it looks like sitting with a difficult conversation without trying to win it. That is Chapter 8, being water, finding the level, not fighting the shape of the container. Pick one, just one. Try it for 7 days, not as a productivity hack, not as a self-improvement experiment, simply as an act of doing less and noticing what happens when you do. Here is what Lao Tzu understood that most of us still do not. The rat race is not a place, it is a way of seeing. You can quit your job, move to Bali, delete every app from your phone, and still be running. Because the race is not outside, it is inside. It is the belief that you are not enough yet, that you need one more achievement, one more milestone, one more version of yourself before you can finally rest. The first 10 chapters of the Tao Te Ching say something radical. You were enough before you started running. Water does not try to be useful. The valley does not try to be deep. The newborn does not try to be alive. They simply are. And that, just being, without adding anything, is the most powerful act of freedom available to you right now. 2,500 years later, the prescription has not changed. We just forgot how to read it. Subscribe to Art of Living every week, one idea that gives you more freedom. And tell me in the comments, which of these 10 chapters hit you the hardest? Was it water, emptiness, knowing when to stop, or the newborn who does not try to be strong? Write it below. I read every single one.